Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Fish Keeping Jamaica. We are live on the air where we are looking at Mr. Aqua Funk himself. Enjoy this interview as I ask him some intrusive questions about his hobby and his personal life. The first question I have is, why the name Aqua Funk? Let's listen to what he has to say.
Here's the story behind the name Aqua Funk. When I first started looking at other people's channels, before I even had a channel myself, when I commented on other people's channels, I went by the name Angelfreak. So when I did start a channel, I called it Angelfreak. But when my friends and family, when I told them about my channel to look me up on YouTube, it would pull up Chris Angel Mind Freak, the magician, and you had to scroll way all the way down to the bottom to get to mine. So I said, that's not going to work. I'm going to go with Aqua Funk because that's also a name I liked. But once again, apparently there's a band somewhere out there that goes by the name Aqua Funk way before I did. So you had to scroll all the way down again to get to me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to call my channel Aqua Funk, but my name is going to be Angelfreak. So when you see the title, it says Aqua Funk with Angelfreak. Aqua Funk being the name of the channel, Angelfreak being me, Jay, the Angelfreak. But everybody calls me Aqua Funk, and it actually is grown on me. So, Aqua Funk, Jay, Angelfreak. And recently a very cool individual called me Mr. Funk. So I like that name too. So I don't really care what you call me. I've been in the Army, infantry, football, sports in high school. So my whole life people have given me nicknames, and it doesn't matter what you call me. Just as long as whatever you call me as a friend, I'll answer.
Aqua Funk, how long have you been in this hobby? You share with or are
Here's the deal with that question. When I got out of the Army in 2000, I started working for a local pet store part-time as the reptile manager, because I used to be big into reptiles. And the reptiles was right next to the fish department, so if you worked reptiles, you worked fish department. Then I got into fish just by dealing with them every day. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm actually by trade a motorcycle mechanic. So at one point I was working on motorcycles, and I had grease and oil and gas always in my fingers and all that. So I took a break from the aquarium hobby. Also, one thing that a lot of people don't know about me is at one point I also had an aquarium maintenance business. So actually, I really started getting to the hobby in 2000 for a couple years, took a break from it for a couple years, and then recently, the last 3 or 4 years, I got back into it. So, yeah, that's how long I've been dealing with fish. I noticed that when I did get back into it, though, I felt like it was brand new to me, because there was so many new things out there, so many fish you can get now that you couldn't get then. So in all actuality, I consider myself being in the hobby for 4 years, just because I took that long break.
This interview is getting so interested. Now, Mr. Funk, what inspired you to become such aqua freak, so interested in fish keeping?
I was home a lot more, and I always wanted a tank with angels. The funny thing is I've always wanted angels back, like I said, when I was back doing the hobby at around 2000, but I never did. I don't know why, I just never did. So now that now that I had time where I was home, I wasn't running around in the streets like some kind of little maniac and all that, and I was home with the family and all that. I wanted to get back in, and I wanted to get the fish that I always thought about, which was angels, and I fell in love with angels. I tried community tank with angels, but little by little, those other fish kind of, for whatever reason, would end up cycling out, and I've always kept the angels. So, what inspired me to get in the hobby? Boredom.
That's such a interesting information. What has been your greatest achievement since you have actually been a part of this wonderful community, this wonderful hobby? What has been your achievement?
My greatest accomplishment since being in a hobby was probably raising my first batch of angelfish fry. But I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I have a lot of things that I want to do in this hobby, and I don't feel like I've accomplished them yet, but I definitely feel like I'm on my way there. So I don't judge my accomplishments as one big goal. I judge my accomplishments as a bunch of little goals to get to that one big goal. And as long as I stay, hitting those marks, those benchmarks that I make for myself, I consider all of those little accomplishments towards my big one. So honestly, I have a lot of great accomplishments, but I haven't reached my greatest one yet, which will be in my twilight, when I'm older and all that, and I got back issues and all that kind of stuff. I would like to have my own fish room and sell angelfish to make a little extra money, in my old age, and maybe put some aside for my kids. I'm not trying to get rich. I just want to be able to do this to have extra and feel a little bit more financially secure, knowing that I have money coming in that I control. So once I hit that, then I will definitely say that was my greatest accomplishment. But right now, I am taking small steps to reach that, and all those small steps to me are great accomplishments.
What's the name of your first fish in which you have ever had?
Back when I was a teenager, my stepfather had a 55-gallon community tank, and this was before I was into fish. I liked looking at them. I fed them. I cleaned the tank, but I was a teenager and I had other things I wanted to do. But there was this one fish in the tank, and I'll never forget this fish. And one day I'm gonna have to get it again. But it was actually a weather loach, a golden weather loach, And the reason why it was my favorite is because when I was cleaning the tank, it would actually let me pick them up. So that's my favorite first fish, and that's because, honestly, that fish I'll never forget. And probably, it's the one thing that always has... That's the first time fish have ever sparked interest in my life, was that weather loach letting me pick them up.
Mr. Funk, Mr. Funk, this list of questions is getting really, really interesting. And the next question is, do you specialize in angelfish only? My audience would like to know. Thank you.
Primarily, yes. But, like I said, in the past, I used to do aquariums for businesses, so I had to learn about a lot of fish. I kept fish in the past after I got out of the Army, and I was always interested in big South American cichlids because they had so much personality. But because of their size, it's not really a good time for me to keep fish that big. Mainly because I wouldn't be happy with one fish. I'd want to have a whole bunch of fish, and that's just a lot of tanks. that I don't have the space for. So, angelfish are my favorite. It's what I know most about. But I also have a pretty decent knowledge about South Americans and oddball fish that don't really have a category. I learned a lot about them, different types of oddball fish, and their little ins and outs. So, yeah, angelfish is my primary, but South American and oddball fish I also have a pretty good knowledge of.
This has been a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. I'm picking up perception. Oh yeah. Here's another question. Breeze is blowing. Mr. Funk is on the other hand and he's listening. I'm trying to speak American, you know. I'm not speaking the patois. So let me go again. Another question for Mr. Funk is, what other fish would you like to keep in this hobby other than angelfish? What other fish would you like to seriously contemplate keeping, and probably even changing the name for Mr. Funk slash Angelfreak to Mr. Funk the Fish?
I actually have two different gold head compressor set from Lake Tanganyika, a yellow compressor set from Lake Tanganyika, a white Calvis, and a black Calvis for Lake Tanganyika. So basically, what other fish would I like to keep is I would like to have a Lake Tanganyika or Lake Tanganyiki. I say things the wrong way, but those particular fish I'm very, very interested in because there's so many different shapes and they don't get too big. So right now, other than angelfish, I would keep African cichlids from Lake Tanganyika. Yeah, those. If y'all get a chance to check them out, y'all really should. They're beautiful fish, and they're not hard to keep, and they're just awesome. I love those. I love those guys. I think that's gonna be my next venture.
Mr. Fun, now we all have families, and the next question is obvious. How much do your family support you in this hobby? Please don't let me laugh.
Definitely yes, in their own way. And I say that because they leave me alone. They don't really bother me when I do crazy stuff like bring in another little tank and all these little setups, and so they support me by leaving me alone and not complaining too much. Although my old lady does roll her eyes at me sometimes, and I she's just like you. Oh, you're buying more fish, you're buying more this, you're buying more that. But she doesn't hassle me too much because this is the only thing I spend my money on. I'm not running around in the streets, cutting up. So, yeah, she supports me. And there are times where she's into it. But, as long as I'm home, I guess, she's happy. But, yeah, they support me. They tolerate me. That would be a better answer.
Many people keep ponds. Some person says it's a cheap ass way of keeping fish. What's your opinion on ponds?
There's a really good answer to that. The answer is 100% yes. I like ponds, and the reason why I like ponds is because I happen to love the look of the metallic butterfly kois with the long fins and the metallic coloration. Love those fish. The only problem I have with ponds is I like to see the fish straight on instead of looking down at them. So I do like ponds, and one day I would like to have some land where I could put some ponds on, but I would probably have to do something with a window so that I can see them sideways, sideways instead of looking down at them. But yeah, I actually do like ponds. I've worked with ponds in the past in my little aquarium business, my maintenance business. But like I said, right now I'm in an apartment and I don't have any, but if I had some land, I would probably have a lot of them, as long as they had windows for me to view the fish.
Wow, interesting. I don't know if you're enthused about Jamaica, but many persons are. What is your take on Jamaica itself? Not Fish Keeping Jamaica now, Jamaica itself. Share with us.
Okay, so I know Jamaica's an island in the Caribbean Sea. I know Jamaicans, at least the Jamaicans when I was younger living in Brooklyn, they would speak a type of language that it was, I think they call it Patois. I know that Jamaica is a very, very beautiful island. I know Jamaica has I know Jamaica and Jamaicans are very musical people. So are Puerto Ricans, like myself. And I also know this. Jamaica produced, in my opinion, the single greatest singer, songwriter, inspiration that I could ever think of, which is Bob Marley.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, that's the extent of my knowledge on Jamaica. But I'm learning more and more about it by watching your channel. So I really don't see a whole lot difference in Jamaica and Puerto Rico, to be honest with you, in the fact that we all love music. We all have very strong opinions and strong sense of pride. But I think that's one reason why I like Jamaicans so much. I feel like I understand them more. So yeah, that's what I know about Jamaica. But like I said, I'm learning more by watching Fish Keeping Jamaica.
I have kept angelfish before, and within less than 2 months, all of them dead. Could you explain for me? Why they are dying? Thank you.
Okay, Riley. So you say angelfish are very difficult for you to keep, and you're not the first person to say that. For some reason, some people just cannot keep angelfish. I personally don't know why. I have a theory that certain people's lifestyle, the things that they do, the little things that they do with their aquariums, happen to be suited for specific fish, not on purpose. It's just that's the way it is. With me, I don't try to keep angelfish. Honestly, it's just very natural that what I do, angelfish thrive in. Not all fish, angelfish though in particular. And but have helped people out in the past that had trouble with angelfish. And there's a couple of things that you need to keep in mind with angelfish. Sometimes people overdo it. These angelfish are captive bred for generations. So a lot of times they go into the websites and the Wikipedia and they find out the exact specifics on how to keep angelfish. And to be honest with you, I personally think it's too much. I think that they overdo it. Listen, get your water to about 80 degrees. Get your pH to about 7.5, high 6s to 7.5. Feed them a protein-rich diet with mixing it up with vegetation, keep the water clean. Really, that's the only thing I would suggest for somebody. Anything outside of that, I think maybe you're getting angels from a bad source. But in my personal experience, those couple of things are really all you need to keep angels. Aside from keeping the water clean and doing all that stuff and changing the waters, those small specific things. 80-degree temperature, high protein diet, pH, high sixes to 7.5, and a quality breeder, you know? And I don't see why you should have any other problems keeping angelfish alive.
Yeah, brother. Really here, you know. What is your take on fish keeping Jamaica? Be honest and tell me what you think, opinion, shared, viewed, all of that. Let me know now.
Okay, so my impression is this. I love debating people. I love talking to people. Sometimes, maybe it's arguing. I like to argue. But I like to have conversations that have substance. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm very good at it. At debating or arguing, whatever you want to call it. And one of the reasons why is I like sharing ideas, new ways of thinking. That's one of the things I like about arguing or debating. Aside from the fact that, Riley got some awesome, fish projects going on and all that, I love the way he comes at a subject kind of sideways. Not really straight on. Like, I'll watch him and I'll listen to him on some of his thoughts on subjects, and at first he takes me by surprise because I don't know where he's going with that, and then he hits you with his conclusion on that subject from an angle that I didn't think about, which that's intriguing to me because I also like exercising my mind, and I really enjoy his thought process. Fish aside, I do love the fish aspect of it, but I just like some of his personal opinions on things. I don't agree with everything, but I appreciate the thought he's put into it, and the way he comes at a subject. He's a very deep thinker, and those are the type of people that I like to hang around with, instead of, talking about sports and stuff like that. And sometimes I get tired of talking about fish. I want to talk about another subject, and I want to have a deep dialogue. And Riley is the type of person that I would probably hang with for that. So basically, dig the channel, dig Riley.
And the next question is obvious. Anybody meeting you, Mr. Funk? Yeah, Mr. Funk. Right? We want the funk. Ooh, better get the funk. Ooh. Yeah, Rastafari. Have you ever bred angelfish before? And how often? Well, have you ever bred angelfish before?
Yes, I actually have 6 grow out tanks. I did have 4 breeding pair, but one of the females of my breeding pair passed on. She was an old girl. So yes, I breed angels on a regular basis, actually. And how do I feel about it? It makes me feel good that I provided the correct environment. All my hard work of creating this small world for these fish has been so good that they actually wanted to do what they would do in nature, which is procreate. So yeah, the fish breeding to me is the ultimate sign that you are doing what you need to do to keep these fish healthy and happy. Because if there was anything wrong in the equation, they wouldn't breed. They would, you know, temperature off, food off, tank size off, water quality off. If any of those things was off, they would not breed. They would not feel comfortable enough to be fish and do what fish do. So yes, every time I have a pair of angels spawn on me, I feel validated that I'm doing a good job. And then when those baby fry grow, and I could see the differences between this fish and that fish, and that, it's actually difficult for me to get rid of them because I feel a connection. And like right now, I have probably like 100 fry here and there that need to go, and I got some more coming, and it's just it's always difficult for me to pick which ones that need to go or which ones I'm going to keep, because I do feel each one of them is a little bit of hard work, and it's all validation. So yeah, all in all, I don't know what it is about angelfish. They're just my thing. I wanna thank you, Riley, for having me and coming at me with this opportunity to be on your channel and for you to be on my channel. I'm a big fan, and thank you very much. And I do hope you mentioned you hope we meet one day. I would love that. We could talk for hours. I really do believe that. So that's my time. And like always, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your fish.
So that is it, my fish keeping peeps. I know, fake accent, but you know, trying to reach everybody. The last time I talking about what some people right said, them couldn't understand one language, so I try to fix up the tune, you know. Alright, so Jamaica here, fish keeping Jamaica here. Irie, join me next time for another collab, probably one day next week, and my host and my interviewee, well, my interviewee will be a surprise. Now, if you want me to interview you on my channel, or vice versa, you can hit me up below and we share info. Thank you very much for making the Fish Keeping Jamaica. Rally here. Peace. Cameraman, cut now. Yeah, cut. Oh, I forget that. I'm here the cameraman. Cool.